Previously on The Sims 4 Big Brother.
Level 6 of this Big Brother game brought on the double eviction week, where we saw Knox as HOH get rid of Dina as she was voted out, but not before sharing one last kiss with Rashidah. Following Dina's eviction, Kaori won HOH and soon got out Johnny for the second time. And somehow I'm just now realizing I left title there instead of live. Embarrassing. We are officially down to 9 players in the game, and jury has started. So, who will be the first jury member at the end of the week, and what new twist do we have unleashed in the house? Find out now on Sims 4 Big Brother! Hi all my beanie weenies, and welcome back to my channel. This is of course another episode of The Sims 4 Big Brother US Season 2. And as all of our house guests head into the backyard to compete in the next HOH competition, Level 7 unlocks a brand new twist, and that one being trios. Now that we are down to 9 house guests, all of them will be split up into 3 teams of 3. And we will do this by competing in the Llama game that we have in front of us. Now, of course, since Kaori was the previous HOH, she is not eligible to compete. However, she can totally still earn safety if her team wins HOH. Now, as you can see in front of us, we have 3 teams laid out over the Llama game: Team Yellow, Team Red, and Team Blue. I will call the house guests up to compete in the game, and wherever they sit determines what team they will be going into. Whoever makes it through all rounds of the Llama game and wins in the end will win not only themselves safety, but their team as well. When it comes to nominations, that HOH must pick between the other 2 trios who will face the block, and all 3 of them will be nominated. So let's get things started, shall we? We see Bob kind of coming over and picking who he wants to play with, and the first 3 to compete are Bob, Zoe, and Venessa, as they all pick which seats they want to take. We see Venessa takes the gray seat, which means that she is not automatically assigned into a group, but because that yellow is available, that's where she will be going if she doesn't win this round. So far, both Bob and Zoe have had successful pulls, and so has Venessa, who will be the first one to make the tower collapse.
Ooh, sheep.
Everyone has successfully removed 2 blocks from the pile. And just like that, Zoe is out of the competition and no longer eligible to win Head of Household. And since she had chosen the blue section of the table, she will be joining Team Blue. Venessa ends up coming over and picking who competes in round 2, and that makes round 2 between Bob, Venessa, Knox, and Rashidah. Now, since we have 4 players competing in this round and Knox is on the gray side of the table, that does mean that he will be able to choose which team he wants to join if he loses. And he will either join them by if he really likes Zoe or if he'd rather be by himself as of right now. It's a little bit complicated, I know. Maybe I should have done a little bit something different, but if you think that I could have improved it in any way, let me know down below in the comments. And just like that, Rashidah is out of the competition, and funnily enough, she has also chosen the blue side and will be joining Zoe on Team Blue. Will Team Blue end up being Team Losers? We're gonna have to wait and find out. And as Bob, Knox, and Venessa continue on with the game, we're also going to invite Akira to join that remaining 4th spot. And after what looks to be the longest match so far, unfortunately for Venessa, she pulls the unlucky log. God, that's hard to say. Unlucky log. And since she was in that yellow section, she will be the first person to join Team Yellow. And we only have 2 house guests over there remaining that need to start playing, and it looks as though the boys have invited Mark over to join. Now Angela has just to sit by herself and wait for her chance to compete, but maybe it's better off that way. She doesn't have to keep going rounds and rounds and rounds. Maybe she'll be able to join the last one and win the HOH altogether. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, the boys are battling it out.
Lume, Oopatu.
Rin Shoop. Billabak. Who should? Sliboon.
Ooh, Lena.
Oh, Clevo.
And on Knox's turn, he crashes the tower and is out of the game. Now, of course, we know that Venessa, his love interest, is over here on Team Yellow, and since Knox was in the gray section, he can pick who he wants to join, and naturally he chooses her, making him the 2nd member of Team Yellow. And now that there's an available spot open, Angela can now join the game. But of course, Big Brother has tricks up his sleeves and he decides to turn off the lights. Will this make the game a little harder? And it looks like it, as Bob is immediately out of the game. And he is the first player to join Team Red.
Glank, Wixel Glue. Snur's Fwist.
But it doesn't take long for Angela to pull the unlucky log, and now she has to pick which team she wants to join. We are going to do a little look-see at her relationship statuses just to confirm which one she wants to join, and honestly they're all super low. She doesn't really have high stats with anyone apart from Rashidah. So because of that, she will be the final member of Team Blue. So now we have our full Team Blue, which is made up of Angela, Rashidah, and Zoe. But it is now down to the final 2, Mark and Akira. Which one of these 2 will win HOH for not just them, but their new team?
Snoshy. And trip.
Alright, that was a nail biter, but unfortunately for Mark, he is out of the game, which does mean that Akira has won the HOH and has secured not only himself but his team safety. Now, since Mark was on that yellow side of the table, he will be the final member to join Team Yellow, which now consists of him, Venessa, and Knox. Now, even though Akira was on the blue side, he's going to take up the remaining spots left on Team Red, and so does Kaori. So now, the safe people of the week and the guys in power are going to be Team Red, consisting of Bob, Akira, and Kaori. But Akira will be the one choosing which team faces the block, and that's going to be either Team Blue or Team Yellow. But we'll have to wait and see which team he chooses, as now that the HOH is over, we're going to have everyone head back inside the house and see what kind of drama they get into. How do you guys feel about the new twist? How do you think about the new teams? All that kind of stuff, let me know down below in the comments. And while I'm saying it, yeah, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, all that stupid YouTube stuff. And I love hearing from my beanie weenies, so make sure to leave a comment. Alright, so upon re-entering the house, it looks as though most house guests are trying to find a little bit of solitude away from their team. We see Knox has gotten into the hot tub, Rashidah is doing a game of horseshoe, Venessa is punching the punching bag, and a lot of our other house guests are kind of spreading out and going their own separate ways. We see that Kaori has gone into the yellow and blue bedroom and just decides to kind of sit in there alone, take a little bit of a nap. I'm sure that they're all a little bit worn out after that all-night HOH competition. Meanwhile, upstairs in the HOH room, Akira is discovering his new room for the first time, and Bob is up there as well, and this time we are going to have all of Team Red able to access the HOH room and all the luxuries they have within it. So while Bob is up there, he's able to watch a little bit of television, use that private bathroom, and do anything that he needs to do, as well as Akira. And for some reason, every time they cook something up here in this microwave, it does that weird glitch where it's like stuck to their hand. I have no clue what that's about. Back outside in the garden, it looks as though Knox got a little bit overheated in the hot tub during the middle of the day, and has hopped out and is joining that game of horseshoe with Rashidah. Meanwhile, upstairs, Venessa is enjoying the arcade room all to herself and playing a little bit of Blick Block. Downstairs in the storage room, Zoe is trying to cook up a nice meal for herself, but is getting a little bit distracted at how run down the storage room is becoming. That coffee maker is still broken and sparks and smoke are coming off of it. Plus, there's a load of dirty food in the fridge and trash in the recycling bin.
Oh, Neve! Ugh.
However, Rashidah and Knox decide to ditch that game of horseshoe and to come bother Zoe in the storage room and join in on helping her make this food. I gotta say, I think I would be annoyed if people kept coming in to kind of assist with my cooking, especially since a majority of the time they end up taking the food for themselves. We'll have to wait and see if Zoe gets any of this food once they're done helping.
Oh,
Landy. Wow.
the Shano. Oh, you have a horn save.
Back upstairs in the HOH room, Akira and Bob are continuing to build their relationship, have time to talk and strategize, and I don't know, could this be a final two in the making?
You dumps, Legenzo. Dodavepi, Zamona Sarah. Wafata Fibose. Jewel. Tenebit.
Meanwhile, it looks as though that trio that has formed in the storage room has ditched cooking altogether and instead are all heading into the bathroom in unison. I'm not exactly sure why. They soon kind of all pile into the toilet and just kind of stare at each other. I don't know if they're having a kind of secret conversation away from everyone, if they're strategizing, or what's going on. I'm not too sure. Thankfully, Knox doesn't stay in there very long, and the girls just kind of awkwardly look at each other for a little bit. Outside in the backyard, Angela seems to be having a pretty lousy day. As we saw from looking at her relationship statuses, she isn't really close to anyone, and it seems to kind of be getting to her. And it looks as though that group have went and stolen some food, and none of them seem to have finished making that meal with Zoe. I wonder if that's just going to sit there and rot, or what's going to happen there. We see that Angela has eventually made her way back inside, and seems to either be getting some food for herself, or heading into the bedroom. Meanwhile, everyone is now enjoying a little bit of food at the dining room table, which has grown a little bit too big for our 9 house guest. While everyone is enjoying some food on their own, it looks as though Venessa is taking this time to stare at the memory wall and try to decide what she's going to do in the game going forward, who she's going to align with, what she thinks of this trio, and what she thinks of the showmance, and also get a few pumps in. And, everyone in here has to work out constantly, so even while strategizing, she's going to make sure she burns a few of those calories as well.
Oh. Yeah.
And of course, Zoe decides not to try to finish up what she was making earlier. Instead, she's just gonna start all over again and let that food sit there and rot. Can't wait for them to complain about that later. Meanwhile, upstairs, Kaori is going into the HOH room for the first time, but it isn't even to strategize with Akira or anything, it's just to use the toilet. Meanwhile, the 2 boys on the red team are now splitting up, and it seems to be kind of avoiding Kaori a little bit. You know, I would think that she would take this time to kind of bond with the 2 boys, but it doesn't seem so, as Bob has headed out to the outdoor gym to work out with Angela. Meanwhile, Akira is inside strategizing with the rest of the house guests. But, of course, everyone in the house is taking some time to work out. We see Rashidah is in the gym indoors on the treadmill. You know, everyone is either eating or working out. That's kind of the 2 main activities in the house. How boring. Upstairs in the arcade room, Angela continues to spend some time alone. This time though, it's to sing a little bit of a karaoke song to herself, which I kinda love. No one is ever really getting on the karaoke machine, so it's a nice little treat for me to see them doing something new for once.
Chobi Parexabom. Chobi Faru. Chobi Panel.
However, the day is slowly coming to an end, and honestly, nothing really exciting has happened so far. We see that Kaori is cleaning up a little bit. Meanwhile, Akira is coming back upstairs to enjoy his HOH room and that private bed all to himself as he slowly tucks himself into bed and heads to sleep. Downstairs in the bathroom/gym area, we see that Venessa is doing a little bit of motivation work on Rashidah, who's still on the treadmill burning off those extra calories. And why Venessa doesn't have a shirt on, I honestly can't answer that. I have no clue why she's walking around with her bra on, but I mean, it's definitely a look. And I can't really tell if the two of them are getting on or not. They seem to be complaining about the smell that's lingering in the room, as no one has been working on laundry still, and that's still kind of glitching out with piles of laundry scattered all throughout the house, and I'm sure it smells crazy in there right now. Mark ends up heading outside and he seems to be pretty tired and a little grouchy. I honestly can't tell if this conversation is an argument, if they're just discussing the state of the house right now, if he's blaming others for making a mess. I'm not too sure, but he seems to be in a particularly bad, angry mood. Meanwhile, it looks as though Kaori is seeming to be a little bit upset at all of it. I can't really see this conversation going well in either direction, and soon they start yelling and pushing each other. Hopefully we don't have another fist fight on our hands. Eventually, the two of them storm off and go their separate ways after pissing each other off to the extreme. Of course, Kaori ends up just going upstairs and making herself a drink, while Mark slowly makes his way across the house and heads to bed in the red room, where Bob is already sleeping. And of course, Kaori makes the drink and then decides not to drink it and leaves the bar altogether. So since everyone else is asleep, let's go ahead and fast forward to the next day and see exactly what Akira is going to do with his HOH powers and which trio he decides to nominate. Alright, it is nomination time, and Akira only has two choices, either Team Blue or Team Yellow. Now again, Team Blue consists of Zoe, Rashidah, and Angela. Meanwhile, Team Yellow consists of our lovebirds Venessa and Knox, with the powerhouse Mark right alongside them. But, of course, like always, this is going to be based on his relationship statuses with everyone in the group. So, whichever team he has the least relationship with is the team he is going to nominate. And all three will face the public... Oh, I almost said the public vote. All three will face the block, and potentially one of them will be evicted come Friday. And based on that, Akira has decided to nominate Team Blue. Honestly, I'm not too shocked. Team Blue is kind of the losers of the group so far. Angela has no relationship with anyone. Zoe did have kind of a romance going with Akira at the beginning of the game, but that has slowly drifted apart. And Rashidah is a bit of a threat. Will any of them be able to win Power of Veto and save themselves? Stay tuned and find out on Wednesday. Bye!